Chilling in the heart of Metro Detroit, we have the one and only Huntington Woods, Michigan, and it's often hailed as a hidden gem, a place where charming historic homes meet modern convenience, and your neighbors are more likely to lend you a cup of sugar than a side eye. Known for its tree-lined streets, top-rated schools, and an unbeatable sense of community, it's kind of a city that looks straight out of a Hallmark movie. But before you start picturing yourself sipping coffee on a porch swing, there are a few quirks to uncover, like sky-high property taxes that might leave your wallet screaming louder than your kids at the Detroit Zoo. So let's dig into the good, the bad, and the ugly realities of calling Huntington Woods, Michigan your new home. Huntington Woods, Michigan, also known as the City of Homes, being as this 1.49 square mile city is just a big old neighborhood of early 20th century houses ranging from Tudor and colonial styles to mid-century modern designs, smack dab in the middle of Metro Detroit in Oakland County along the Woodward Corridor with a population of right around 6,300 people. Aside from the Detroit Zoo being in Huntington Woods' backyard and crossing over into Royal Oak as well, it's a 125-acre wildlife sanctuary home to over 2,000 animals from 230 species, offering these immersive exhibits like the Arctic Ring of Life and the Penguin Conservation Center. Known for its focus on conservation and education, it's a must-visit destination where visitors can experience close encounters with nature while learning how to protect it at the same time. I still can't believe there are some people who have not been there. It doesn't matter if you're an infant in a stroller or 115 years old. This is an interesting experience for everyone. Anyway, sorry for that little tangent. All that to say, there's more to this little city than just being known as the convenient spot to live to access the Detroit Zoo. Just geographically speaking, for being known as the City of Homes, there's enough amenities nearby to bring your bank account to zero after every paycheck. Huntington Woods is touching Royal Oak for that downtown experience and nightlife. Ferndale is right up the corridor for a little of the same. Berkeley, Birmingham for downtown experiences. Southfield for additional store offerings. Troy, 20 minutes up the road, and downtown Detroit, 20 minutes down the road. I'll be sure to link a few videos in the description that I did about some of these nearby cities I mentioned so you can get a sense of what they're all about and what you actually have access to. All that while being situated right by not only the Woodward Corridor, but I-696 and I-75 for all your north, south, east, west travel. So for that, we will chalk that up as a commuter's dream, especially if you are working in any of those areas that I rattled off. But with this scrumptious location comes some downsides and some good depending on how you want to look at it. Traffic within Huntington Woods is generally manageable, with residents experiencing minimal congestion on the local streets. However, the city's proximity to those major expressways can lead to increased traffic during peak hours, especially near the Detroit Zoo and surrounding areas. But on the other end of the spectrum, if one expressway is clogged up, you have a few different options to get around it. One of the biggest misconceptions that anyone could have about Huntington Woods, Michigan is the fact that it's just a pass-through town, and people wouldn't really know about it if the Detroit Zoo didn't have anything to do with it. And although that may be a little true about the Detroit Zoo aspect, this is not a city that's just a pass-through, because although the corridor and the highways are nearby, there's not just a road that passes right through this city to disrupt the life there, which is why and how the city has been able to maintain a community feel despite everything going on around them, which is awesome, because not having a designated downtown space can definitely hinder that in a community. Different attractions like the Rackham Golf Course, the Huntington Woods Parks and Rec area with an aquatic club, tennis courts situated in the Gillum Recreation Center, which includes the Huntington Woods Library and the Cultural Center, Burton Elementary School, and Burton Community Park. And then there's also the Huntington Woods Men's Club field off 11 Mile Road, Reynolds Park, and the public tennis courts near the Woodward Corridor. And you might be thinking, that doesn't really sound like much, but the city definitely makes the most of it by doing day trips out of the recreation center, classes, a week-long celebration for the 4th of July with a parade, fireworks, breakfast, lunches, concerts, contests, and so much more. You can do drop-in sports and activities at the rec center, along with concerts in the park every week with food trucks, and they do an annual reception for new residents every single year. What city does that? On top of that, to keep the community informed, the Hometown Herald, a newsletter put out 3 times a year, dishing out all the happenings and changes going on in the city too. There's also the HARP program, that is a volunteer program to help resident homeowners over the age of 60 with disabilities, as well as smart connector transportation for residents who are at least 55 years of age or differently abled adults of any age, with runs Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for curb-to-curb transportation on the city smart van for all activities of daily living. If this isn't a city involved in creating the tightest community possible, I really don't know what is. You wouldn't be able to include all this just looking at a map. I also wanted to be sure to include their Parks and Recreation Master Plan in the description. That is a whopping 135 pages long. This Harry Potter novel-sized plan goes over their planning process, community and cultural characteristics from age, employment, income, and education to funding and budgets, recreation inventory, goals and action plans, and so much more. What caught my attention about this plan was the Huntington Woods Survey in Appendix A of the master plan, which received nearly 300 resident responses answering questions from open-ended questions asking about what needs to be brought to the department's attention and how important current programs are to how they can rework the city's current offerings to cater to the wants and needs of their residents. It's incredible how committed the local municipality is to put their residents at the forefront. This is such an underrated community solely because you wouldn't know any of this unless you planted your 2 feet in the community and saw it with your own 2 eyes. Some other notable rankings that truly put a ribbon on top of this little city, brought to you by niche.com, is not only is the city of Huntington Woods ranked number 2 best places to raise a family in the Detroit area, it ranks number 3 of 802 best places to raise a family in Michigan as a whole, as a state. Number 3 of 337 best suburbs to raise a family in Michigan, and number 6 of 338 best suburbs to buy a house in Michigan, and the area has earned an overall grade of an A+, which was given based on data for the following categories: public schools, housing, good for families, jobs, cost of living, outdoor activities, crime and safety, nightlife, diversity, weather, health and fitness, as well as the overall commute. If you didn't catch it, Huntington Woods is also known for their awesome schools. The area is served by the school district of Royal Oak, as well as the Berkeley City School District. Niche.com gives the Royal Oak School District an overall grade of a B+ and a ranking of number 27 best school districts in the Detroit area, as well as number 93 of 539 best school districts in Michigan, and number 201 of 517 districts with the best teachers in Michigan. On the other hand, the Berkeley School District received an overall grade of an A and is ranked number 26 best school districts in Michigan, number 12 of 517 districts with the best teachers in Michigan, number 14 of 507 best places to teach in Michigan. I will be sure to include more information for both these school districts in the description below too. So that all sounds fine and dandy, but the question is, what's the catch? Where's the fine print? A commuter's dream surrounded by a pool of amenities, a community most people would die for, and to top it off, awesome schools. Well, the fine print is that a place like this comes at a high cost. To take that point home, we are going to take a gander at this handy dandy graph provided by the MLS that shows the average sale price as a whole in blue and the average price in Huntington Woods in green over the last 3 years, which comes out to be a whopping $562,000.36, a 6.1% increase over the last 12 months. Over the last 365 days, there have been 82 homes sold in Huntington Woods, ranging from a $269,900 home. And before you say, that's not too expensive, understand that this bad boy is right on 11 Mile Road, which is a busy spot on the north side of Huntington Woods, and it's a bungalow with 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, 2,154 total square feet, without a garage, situated on 0.13 acres and built in 1954. Although only having 8 pictures, it's been spruced up over the last couple years and is a nice affordable option in the one and only Huntington Woods if and only if you don't mind being off the busy road. And keep in mind, these aren't big lots, so homes aren't situated further back, making it a little bit more bearable. It's just boom, house. Unless you have a detached garage behind the house, you can pull all the way back to, but that doesn't help the problem of needing to turn around so you can pull out of the driveway forward. So it's things that people don't really think about. Then the price takes us up to a $1.259 million contemporary Cape Cod. And before I proceed with the pictures on this one, if you like wood accents, just shut this video off before you start drooling and make an irreversible money decision that you can't take back. This 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home with 4,550 total square feet with a 2-car attached garage situated on 0.37 acres and built in 1951 was freshly remodeled in 2023, and I'm sure this home broke a lot of hearts when it sold so quick. But if you're someone that's like, what about the $300,000 to $400,000 range? Well, these homes are between the 1930s and the 1950s, fairly outdated depending on the size, and oftentimes need a little TLC, but have great character with their archways from room to room and old finishes that are slowly coming back to style and on trend. You do not need to spend $1 million on a home here, but understand, just like most communities, you get what you pay for in reference to the area's average sale price. And sometimes they need a little love or a little bit more love, and that's okay, especially if the community is what you're looking for. On top of that $500,000 average price tag for a home, we can't downplay the property taxes here. Like I said, Huntington Woods is serviced by 2 school districts, Royal Oak and Berkeley, which have separate millage rates, which are used to calculate property taxes. In RO, Royal Oak, if the home is your primary residence, it's a rate of 44.8493, and in Berkeley, it's 46.5482, and I will link the PDF for all these rates in the description for you so you can Control F and find whatever community you're interested in and how much the rate is. So let's take the average sale price of the area and round it to $562,000. If you take 50% of that, which is $281,000, and multiply it by Royal Oak's millage rate of 44.8493 and divide it by 1,000, you have an annual property tax bill of $12,602.65. And if you do the same for Berkeley's millage rate of 46.5482, it comes out to be $13,080.04 a year. So it's not a huge difference. It is a difference, but savings is savings, so that's something to keep in mind when you were looking for a home in the area to see where you can strategically place yourself in the school districts. And as I say when talking about property tax calculations in my videos, this is my formula for a higher estimate because I believe in planning for the worst possible situation, whereas most lenders and information provided by third-party home searches give you what the current owner pays, not what you will pay a year later when the home's taxable value uncaps after a home transfer. Imagine moving in with a certain payment in mind just to be hit in the face a year later with a bill that's thousands and thousands more. It could be the difference of you affording the home versus not. So please make note of that, whether you're moving to Huntington Woods or anywhere in Michigan. If you ask current and past residents about living in Huntington Woods, Michigan, you'll hear a mix of glowing praise and a few candid critiques. Many people highlight the city's safety, excellent schools, and beautiful homes as major selling points here, but with frequent comments of, it's a perfect place to raise a family and you pay for what you get, it's beautiful but it's expensive. A few former residents mentioned that the quiet atmosphere can be a downside, especially for those who enjoy a livelier community. Ultimately, resident reviews and feedback is overwhelmingly positive, but as with any city, it all depends on what you're looking for. For those of you watching, what are your thoughts on Huntington Woods, Michigan? Drop them in the comments below. If you're thinking about moving to Michigan in one day or a billion, feel free to reach out anytime. I also have a link to the Living in Michigan newsletter to give you insight on all things Michigan, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss out. Thanks for watching. Until next time.